Then our Kyle Descartes, our chief of staff, will talk about our buildings, facilities, living in the Twin Cities. And then we'll end it with just some reminders. And then we have another faculty here and a current PhD student. And we're available for questions.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's congratulations on being accepted to the Electrical and Computer Engineering program here at the University of Minnesota. So as Anne just told you, we have a great team of faculty and staff here today that will kind of give you an overview of the department and answer any questions. Our department is very accomplished academically. And I'll just give you some quick statistics and say a little bit more about the department. So currently, the graduate program consists of about 300 grad students, as you can see at the top. It's about 50% master students and 50% PhD students. We're a very interesting department in that we come from 22 different countries in the grad program. I imagine if we include the professors, we'll get up to 30. And so it's a good sized program with a lot of people from different parts of the world, all with excellent track records from their home countries. And so in terms of the faculty, we have currently 44 regular professors. Of those, 15 are IEEE fellows. We have one current NAE member, and we've had 3 National Academy Inventor Fellows, 2 APS Fellows, and 2 Optica Fellows. So that's Applied Physics Society and the Optical Society, and 1 ASME Fellow. So we have a very accomplished and competent group of faculty who are doing very exciting research and can kind of deliver in terms of high-end research and the types of things you'll be interested in on the academic side. Especially since this is a master's group, I want to emphasize that also the MS degree in the department puts you in a very good position for industry or national lab employment. And we can go to the next one. So if you're not planning to go on to do a PhD or an academic career, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of some of the things that have happened here to give you an idea of the trajectory of some of our most famous alumni, and also say that our the rate of great jobs from this program is very high. So if you join the University of Minnesota, our ECE department, you'll be part of a very big network of former alumni or of alumni that you'll be able to tap into. So an important part of our mission is to put you in this position to do more industry work. So examples of people like our most successful people from the university. So one is Jim Anderson. So 2 people that are in the news quite a bit right now. Jim Anderson, who's a graduate of our department. He's a CEO of Coherent, which is an important company in Silicon Valley. Another person is Jeff Dean, who's the CTO of Google. He's a graduate of the CS department here, and he's part of our overall College of Engineering network in the computer engineering area. In terms of startup companies, so not only do we have big impact in general on big companies, we also were ranked last year 3rd amongst all universities in the United States in terms of the number of startups produced by the university. So this is like so we're producing people at the highest level in big companies, but we're also creating brand new startup companies from the research that's done here. So that's the full spectrum in industry. So depending on your cup of tea, you can kind of choose where you are in that spectrum if you're an industry oriented person. So let me just give some examples, if you can go on, and to some recent successes. So one of our famous professors is Professor Jianping Wang. So he has two startups, in fact, more than two startups right now, but one that's been in the news recently, which has gone into making their products, is one called Nairon Magnetics. And what Professor Wang developed in his lab was a new type of magnet that doesn't require rare earth materials. And so this is a new company that's started to make these magnets. And for this, he received the 2025 Faculty Innovator of the Year here at the University of Minnesota, but he has many other accolades for his research. He has another company also in the general magnetics area. Let's go on. Okay, another huge success story from the department is Medtronic. This is a large company. So JP Wang's company is something that's making things down at the device level. Medtronic is a company that makes integrated systems for the medical industry, for doctors and for surgeons and for just general healthcare giving. And it's a huge company. Its revenue is about 33 billion, which is starting to get up there near that of Oracle. It's probably about 1/10 of Microsoft's revenue, but it's a huge company. And it was founded by one of our alums, Earl Bakken. And what he did is he was the first person to invent a pacemaker that you could carry. So this is something that people with heart problems use. It's the first portable pacemaker that people could walk around with. And he started the company based on that, quite some time ago. And this has grown into a huge enterprise that employs thousands of people every year. And many of them come here from the University of Minnesota. So this is an example of a huge success story. Why don't we go to the next one? Another one that's, if you're into supercomputing or computing in general, the most famous supercomputer is the one developed by Seymour Cray. And Cray supercomputer was, and is the name in supercomputing for a long time. And Seymour Cray was an alum of our department. So here's another example of a company that kind of became a super company, I suppose, which started here. So, Anne, I think can go forward. So I'm going to turn it over to Professor Murthy Salapaka, who's the Director of Graduate Studies. Again, congratulations, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Gair. I'm Murthy Salapaka. I'm the Director for Graduate Studies, and you must have seen letters signed by me before. What I'll do here is I'll briefly take you through the requirements for doing a master's, and then show you a variety and the depth of courses that you can take while you are here, and then also touch upon opportunities and the return on investments that previous generations of master students in our department have had. And that'll give you a good idea of to make an informed decision on the program that we offer here in the ECE department of University of Minnesota Twin Cities. So the MS course requirements, there are two different plans in which you can do your master's. One is what is called a Plan C, and the Plan C master's in ECE is primarily a coursework-based master's. So what you see there are 18 EE major field credits. It says EE, but it's basically ECE courses. And then you can take 6 minor related field credits and 6 additional credits that you can take. So the different buckets to be filled, and those buckets are the 3 buckets that you see there for completing the credits. Then you have master's ECE Plan A thesis. So this is thesis based. So you do a fewer number of courses, but you do some research with an advisor, and then that would require 10 thesis credits. This is basically research related that you will complete. 14 major field credits, which is again the ECE major credit fields. and then 6 minor or related field credits that you can complete. So that's basically two plans we offer, Plan A and Plan C, and hopefully you can decide which one is more appropriate for you. One is research-based and one has a larger research component, whereas one is entirely course-based. Next slide.
There we go.
So I'll briefly go over the courses and give you a glimpse of the variety and the depth and the courses that are at the very forefront. Before that, if you're going through the website and finding which courses you can take, I just wanted to clarify that our senior level courses, that is the fourth year undergraduate courses, some of which can be taken towards your master's degree, are all starting with 4,000 level numbers. So what you see here is EE 4231, 4233. What you see there are all master's level fourth year undergraduate level courses, and those that is the system we follow here. Then you have a first year graduate courses. The first year graduate courses are numbered starting with 5,000. So you see that E 5000, 5531, 5231. Those are all courses that you can take in the first year. And it's not that you cannot take other undergraduate courses to prep yourself up if you think you require some needed background. But 5,000 level courses are first year graduate level courses. And then you have quite a few advanced level courses that are also taught, and you can clearly see in controls and systems, we offer a whole slew of undergraduate level fourth year courses that are appropriate for master's students, first year graduate courses, covering the entire gamut of what you would expect from a controls and systems program. And then we offer quite a few advanced courses that will gear you up to take challenges that are more in the forefront of technology. And then you can see here quite a few courses on network of distributed systems, noise and physical and biological systems, semi-definite programming, optimization, formal methods, etc., that you can also tool yourself with if you have interest in controls and systems area. And next slide, and the next area that we have an emphasis on is micro and nano structures. Actually, this is again, you can clearly see the courses that we are offering here. And here I've divided it according to some of the focus areas of semiconductors, micro and nanotechnology, magnetic and spintronics. Again, very large selection of courses that you can take. And we have very accomplished faculty, and one of them is Jinping Wong that Professor Delarue just highlighted, with many companies that have come out from his lab, one of them in magnetics. And we have a very strong presence of magnetic storage devices. Seagate is located right here, and we have very close collaborations with Seagate. And therefore, you can clearly see the relevance of these courses to also local industry here itself. We also have very good semiconductor manufacturing fabrication facilities on campus and inside our building itself. We'll touch upon that a bit later, but you can clearly see you can get very deep expertise while keeping a breadth that is enviable while being in this program. Next slide. A lot of you will be interested in this very large scale integration expertise. And again, what you see here are a whole slew of courses in digital design. Then electronic design automation, EDA. Then we also have a deep expertise in analog design, which happens to be somewhat of an art right now, and computer architecture and emerging computing platforms. So I just want to highlight this course that we offer, for example, on quantum computing and physical basics of computing. So if you want to be at the forefront of computing, doing quantum mechanics, for example, which many of these industries have a research wing that is very aggressively researching quantum computing as an alternative to classical computing, as well as DNA-based computing, that is the course that you see in circuits computation biology. So I want to emphasize here that you will get state-of-the-art expertise in VLSI design automation, EDA, analog design, and digital design. And there's a big network of people that have graduated from our department and have established a big network in Intel, in other places in the Silicon Valley as well, for ARM and NVIDIA. All these places hire regularly from this particular emphasis that we have here. Next slide. We have a deep expertise in optics and photonics in the fields area. So if you're so the RF area, for example, we recently hired an expert in the RF area, and we are expanding on that area as well. And then we have quite a few courses and research expertise in optics. Many of these people go and join pretty high-end industry like KLA 10 core, which makes this high-end lithography machines for example, TSMC, the chip maker in Taiwan. So so graduates from our department have gone in and have become very integral to that process in making high-end instrumentation using optics. And then again, quite a few other areas in which they have made a name for themselves. Next slide. The other area of emphasis is communication signal processing. Again, this comes under the systems area. And if you are so inclined in information theory or communications or signal processing, again, we have quite some depth in this area with faculty here, and you can clearly see the offerings in communication theory and coding, signal processing estimation, and also some information theory courses there, which firmly ground you in the foundations. And we have a whole slew of courses in machine learning and optimization as well, which kind of touch upon or give you deep expertise and exposure to up and coming areas like machine learning, AI, etc. And then transmission techniques is another classical area that you can find deep, you can get very good exposure and training in. Next slide. Again, we all know sustainability is a core focus of many fields, primarily because of the climate change issues. And we have renewable energy and power as a focus area. And you can clearly see here that you can get exposure to all the way from systems, where you model the entire grid, the power grid, and how different components interact with each other and stability issues, etc., all the way to power electronics, which is creating inverters and other such power converters, which shape the power topology, microgrids, etc. So the power electronics area is there. We have expertise in electric machines and drives. We also have very close collaboration in mechanical engineering on electrical machines and drives. And then, of course, the power area intersects very closely with the controls area, and you can clearly see the courses that are offered that support this particular area here. Next slide. So I just wanted to take a moment before I go over this slide and talk to you about the expertise of the faculty here. So I just want to let you know that the way these faculty get their funding, the sponsored funding, we have to compete with the best in the country, and we have had a very high success rate of these grants that we get from National Science Foundation, National Institute of Health, DoD, Department of Defense, Department of Energy. And so we're competing with the best in the world, and we often come up on top on many of these proposals, and that's one of the main ways in which this faculty pursue their research. So they're second to none when it comes to their expertise and the depth of knowledge that you have. So if you come here, you will have access to these deep pockets of knowledge, expertise, and wisdom to shape your journey here. So here are some of, not all, but good sampling of the industries that hire our master students. You can clearly see it almost includes everything that you might have heard of as being companies that are the technology leadership area. You clearly see 3M there, AMD, Apple, ARM, and there's a very strong medical industry here, medical device industry here, propelled by our leadership in Medtronic, which has led to a huge ecosystem of medical devices here. And you can clearly see many of those medical industry companies here. As I said, you can clearly see Seagate there, which is a hardware which makes this storage devices and known for the storage devices that it makes. And not only locally, but we have placed students regularly in places in Silicon Valley, in the East Coast, West Coast, as well as the ecosystem that exists in and around the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, as Kyle will later point out about the density of people that exist here, companies, Fortune 500 companies that exist here. Next slide. So one of the things I wanted to bring about is that these companies that I just pointed to you also provide excellent employment and internship opportunities. And we have had a very strong internship culture here. So most master students would take up internships during summer, the 3 months of summer, as well as some of them will continue through another semester of internship in these companies. And there's a big, as I said, that there's a huge network of previous students, and so that really helps in getting those opportunities and getting in the door for these companies here. I just want to bring out some other aspects of our program. I've already said there's a wide selection of foundational classes which give you deep roots. There's a wide selection of classes to prepare, which are at the frontier of technology. And as I also pointed out, there's access to a range of experts in the discipline. We have other sister departments as well, mechanical, chemical, which are also very highly ranked. And so you can also dip into those expertise as well. Cutting edge research, if you get interested in research, and excellent connections to industry, as I said, and then there's a whole history of employability and internship that we have, which will continue in the future as well. Another thing I want to point out is the culture here is very supportive and collaborative, vis-a-vis being very competitive and cutthroat. For example, we still value excellence, but not at the expense of being supportive and collaborative. So it's a very collaborative and supportive culture here. We are all invested in the success of our students. We understand what it means. We take pride in what our students achieve. And as Professor Delarue pointed out, some of them have reached pretty high heights in the technology landscape. And the return on investment, if you choose to do a master's here, if historical data is any indication, is very, very high. So that's what I wanted to point out to you as well. Next slide. Yeah, so you see here is some testimony from previous master students. We also have another student here on the call who can elaborate more on the questions of how the life is here. And here, this is just a sampling, and it's a typical feedback we get for our programs here. We have around 10 of the 15 members in the team interviewed at Intel are from University of Minnesota, so quite a big percentage there. They hire us because of rigorous training undertaken in the VLSI courses, and the other comments are because of the course syllabus and its homeworks. I got shortlisted resume around for almost all companies that I applied to: Apple, Nvidia, Intel, Qualcomm, AMD. Got multiple interviews, and you can in different companies. And this is just a sampling of what happens for what has been the historical data for our students in this department here. Next slide. I think I'll hand it over to Kyle? You want to take?
I can take this one. Yeah. All right. Hello, everyone. Nice to have you here. Lots of activity in the chat. We got a couple questions we'll return to later on the co-op program and Plan A, but I want to tell you a little bit about our facilities and why this is a great place to spend your time. A lot of fantastic facilities here at the University of Minnesota. We have quite the breadth of researchers here using all kinds of facilities. One we're very proud of is the Minnesota Nano Center. So a lot of nanofabrications is sort of a unique place to have access to. So this is you can see a couple pictures there, and if you come here, you can take classes in that. You can get involved with research that takes you into the Nano Center. Actually, Gong can probably speak more to that later when he talks, because his research definitely utilizes that. If you look over to the right, we have the ECE Grad Student Lounge. So we like to take care of our grad students. We got a great space for students to hang out, with a fridge and microwave and table and a nice couch and even a large TV. So students are hanging out there during the day between classes, studying. We have a great program with some graduate program coordinators who are grad students who get special fellowships to sort of make sure that we have a lot of activities going on. Coffee hours, bowling night. I don't know, maybe they go rock climbing, maybe they go out on the river and go kayaking. So different kinds of things that we try to do to keep everybody active, games, all kinds of stuff like that. So you have a good place to meet people and study. Down below, you can kind of see some of the other facilities you have access to, especially if you want to do some prototyping and you want to, dip your hand in entrepreneurship. Medical Devices Center, in conjunction with a medical school, lots of opportunities to build actual devices with a lot of support. We have the Anderson Makerspace Lab, which is a College of Science and Engineering facility that has everything you need to build whatever you need in terms of electronics, 3D printing, welding, laser cutting, you name it, CNC machines. It's all there for you to build with lots of materials to use. We even have our own makerspace in electrical computer engineering called the ECE Lab. So there's something very local that you can use, although the Anderson Labs is only a building away, so it's very easy to get to. Just to wrap it up, state-of-the-art facilities everywhere. There's more, but I'll leave it at that. Let's go to the next slide, Ann. This just gives you a picture of some of the faculty research labs. When our faculty start here, they start out with some initial funding that allows them to bring in and purchase the equipment they need to do their research. So we have all kinds of high-tech research labs. Every faculty member has that space if they're doing experimental work where they can really have the equipment they need to do all kinds of interesting research. So next slide, what do we got next? Just a little overview of living in Minneapolis here. I like this picture on the left. You can see that little arrow, black arrow in the middle, that's our building, and you can see it's in the middle of everything. So right to the left of our building is a light rail stop that takes you right down to downtown Minneapolis, or if you want to go the other way, downtown St. Paul. You can see the skyline in the background. We're right in the middle of a lot of green spaces. Just a beautiful place to live and to work, near lots of restaurants, very good transit opportunities. So everything is here. You can live very close as well. So it's just a great place to live. Let's see. And then, what's that?
I don't know if you wanted to.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, we can keep going here. And then, I think we put together some nice pictures of all the stuff you can do and activities in the area. I mean, this is the land of 10,000 lakes. You can see here, we got a great picture of a lake that's very nearby. And we can just scroll through this and I'll talk, Ann. Sort of the beautiful landscape, the fall weather. You can keep going. Here's another lake in the winter. So, you may not believe it, but people are outside all year long here in Minnesota, and we like to spend our time out on frozen lakes. It's kind of a fun thing, initiation when you come to Minnesota is we'll take you out to a frozen lake and you can walk on water. So that's always a fun thing to do. And if you're a little fearful of the cold, don't worry. We have tunnels and skyways connecting most of the campus together. So you can stay inside most of the time, but you get used to it and it's great. Lots of great parks. You can go skiing, canoeing, tons of hiking, and I don't want to sell short the urban aspect of Minneapolis too. So it's a very diverse city with lots of people from all over the world, lots of cultural centers throughout the city, access to great restaurants, access to great grocery stores from all areas of the world, and so. And a lot of activities on campus too, a lot of groups on campus that can make you feel like home as you adjust to living in the US or in Minneapolis. So let me see, do we have any more pictures, Ann?
Nope,
No.
that's it.
Okay. So I'll stop there and go back and see what's happening in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, so this is just this just shows from our website. You can read about what's going on with our faculty and our current students, things like that. And then just reminders, if you can just let us know your decision one way or the other by April 15th. Of course, you can do it sooner than that. Registration for fall begins April 9th. All of you should have gotten the welcome letter that I sent out, that kind of has the onboarding for international students and what you need to do in order to get registered. There's no down payment. I know some universities have that, but we don't require it. And always, if we don't answer your questions today, or if things come up, always just feel free to email me. A lot of times I can answer questions through email, or if we want to set up a Zoom, we can do that too. So now we will open it up.
Yeah, there's a few questions outstanding that maybe we can take first, and then welcome.
Okay.
Invite people to go on camera or unmute and ask some questions too. We had a question about Plan A earlier, and I think just the process of how Plan A thesis works. So I don't know if somebody can take that.
Just from my experience with working with the students, usually students know they want to do the Plan A by the end of their first year. And part of that is because you have a limited number of classes you're going to take versus Plan C, and wanting to get started on that thesis project. For that thesis, those 10 thesis credits, it's flexible, and some students will, for their second year, take classes both fall and spring, and then they'll do 5 of their thesis credits each semester and kind of work on it the whole semester or the whole year. Some will choose to do all their classes, finish all of them up, and then just take all the thesis credits their last semester here. And I want to go back. I think there's just a follow-up. I know somebody asked about assigning advisors. Usually we start everybody in Plan C, and I put Marty as the advisor, just because a lot of what you might do involves just administrative processes. Like our international students have paperwork they have to have signed, and GPAS is approved, and it's easier. Like, I'm usually the person you want to put on that, but if Murdy gets it, he knows it to send to me, where some faculty just don't see those. But that doesn't mean you're not free to go and talk to faculty. Like, they're going to be the ones if you're interested in research, if you're interested in a class or an area. I mean, you're always open to go see them. When it comes to Plan A, though, we do have you work with a faculty who's willing to support you for that thesis. So in that case, we will definitely assign that person as your advisor.
We had a question too about co-ops, which I think was a good question. So we have an interesting ability to do co-ops. And I don't know if you want to talk about how that works.
Yeah, so if you're an international student, there is a process to get signed up to make sure your visa is what it should be and all of that. So there's just a couple of forms. We register you in. There's 2 options. One is based on if you're doing it the summer or you're doing part-time during the fall and the spring. And then there's the ability to do a full-time in a fall or spring semester, and that's a different registration. If you're a domestic student, you just do the internship, or a lot of our domestic students are already working full-time in industry. And I know there was a question about taking classes online, and we work with an office called Unite that allows our classes that are going on campus. We just piggyback off that. So it's an alternative way to view the class. It's not like a traditional online as you might think of it, but you're having the same access to like the Canvas, and you take exams at the same time, homework is due at the same time. It's just you're able to log in at work, close your door for an hour and watch the class. They also put it up immediately, so if you go home that night, then you're able to watch the class to stay up to date with the class. We pretty much put all of our 5,000 level classes on through Unite. We have I don't know, couple classes that have a lab attached that are on campus, but we can often set that up where the lecture is going to be online and you come to campus for the lab. So obviously that works for students who are working locally. Other departments put less classes on Unite right now. I don't know if that's going to change. It's usually maybe 1 to 5 classes that other departments like the biomed, mechanical, computer science, industrial and systems engineering. So if you're working full time and plan to take all your classes through Unite, just be aware if like you see, because you have to have so many credits outside of EE, like if you see one that's going to be offered on Unite, I would suggest taking it that semester because it might not be offered as frequently as the EE classes are.
So I just want to point out that doing internships and co-op is very regular for master students. So that's something that you can keep in mind. So most master students would do internship or a co-op or a combination of both. So just the regular normal route that many of the master's students who are coming and doing this course-based stuff do avail of pretty regularly. More questions? Yeah, I mean, if you want to transition to, so if quite a few of our students come to do a master's, they get so intrigued by the technology and research that they stay over to do PhD as well. So there's another route that exists. There are not very strong rules and regulations as to whether you should commit to a plan A or a plan C as soon as you land, etc. It's quite flexible. So you come in here and you thought you'll do plan C, and then you found some research of some faculty very interesting, and the faculty agrees to advise you. You can easily switch to plan A. Moreover, you can also switch to a PhD degree if you choose to, and that happens quite regularly as well. So quite a bit of flexibility here in terms of when you make those decisions. Some of the questions on the chat are asking about is there any kind of time frame? There is no such time frame. Of course, from the point of view of the student, it might be expeditious to reach some of these goals or the decisions you make so that you don't get delayed in getting your degree by making or switching later in your program rather than earlier. But that's left to the student. There's no such rules and regulations from the department itself. And there are other questions which might be helpful to everyone, whether we have to restrict ourselves to any particular area for doing courses. There's no such restriction. You can do the course from whichever area you want, as long as you conform to the credits and the buckets and the requirements that I listed out. I think there is a hand up there. Anne, can you have that person respond?
Can you unmute?
Hi, yeah, grateful to be accepted to the program. Just 2 quick questions, and this is really for you, I guess, Anne. So apology if I'm not covering everybody. So first of all, Anne, thank you very much for already answering some of my questions online. But specifically, I was looking through the course list, and I was starting to compare all the different lists. And for example, prerequisites is my question here. Looking at like predictive learning, 8591, which is a higher level class, I didn't see any kind of prerequisites in the description, but I do see in the intro to predictive learning 5389 there are, of course, the statistics class and a electrical engineering prerequisites, and then subsequent, it has also other prerequisites as well. So I just want to kind of get understanding from you guys how to navigate handling going through all the different prerequisites, because it seems like there's like a prerequisites and then a prerequisites and a prerequisites is like 4 or 5 classes deep, and doesn't seem like a lot of time that we have allow us to do all that undergraduate prerequisites.
I can take that question.
Thank you.
So number of these advanced courses, you can also talk to the advisor, the person who's teaching the class, to see if you have the required prerequisites. Many of the master students have a background already in different things. So it's very, all the professors are very accessible. So you can ask, like, look, I have these courses, like what is required. Many times these advanced courses also take care of understanding that not everybody might have a background exactly in that area. So they do have material in the beginning, which makes it easy for students who are competent but might not have exactly the expertise in that particular topic. And so it's very easy for you to navigate that question. Once you land, you will have a plan of program that you have that you will come up with, saying I'll finish these courses in this particular semester. And you can always reach out to, if you have more questions about prerequisites, to reach out to the faculty itself. It's somewhat difficult to pigeonhole anyone with respect to what is their expertise, and to make a straight-jacketed, prerequisites requirement there. Best to reach out to the faculty or anybody in the area to say, hey, I have this kind of background. Do you think I'll survive in this course? And usually that is how it works, and you can get through that. And there are what are called permission numbers. So even if you don't have a course that you have not taken for a prerequisite, but you think you can handle it because you have other background that is similar to that, there's permission numbers that we give out. The faculty also give out, saying, okay, yes, this person is capable of doing this course. So hope I answered your question.
Yeah, and like mostly for the 5,000 level classes, when they list the prereq, we call them kind of soft prereqs, which, like Bernie was saying, like a lot of our students have them from other experiences or your bachelor's degree. So usually there isn't a problem registering for them. The system won't see that you didn't have them, because otherwise we'd be offering a lot of permission numbers. But at the 8,000 level, even like for our current students, even for our PhD students, a faculty might want every student to connect with them to just make sure that they do have the background. And usually that's just like sending that faculty, like, I want to register for your class. I have this experience or this class. And then the faculty will reply to me to say, yep, give that person a permission number. An odd thing though, like if you register for some 4,000 level classes, because the way we have to set them up for undergrads, you're gonna get, you may be getting you can't register for this class. Again, just send a note to me and I will get you a permission number.
Yeah, and the bottom line is, graduate students in master's program are not going back and taking undergraduate courses that don't count for their program. That's very rare. So you're going to be able to get into these courses and find the courses you need in your background. We're just trying to help you make the right choices so you don't come into a class unprepared.
Yeah, I want to add a few words on that. In my case, the classes I'm teaching, I usually have first of all, I in general don't decline students that doesn't have that prerequisites. But in the first 2 weeks, I will just present some very general review of the knowledge that you're supposed to know. Then I'm gonna let students decide, like, is this completely new to you? Are you willing to take certain chapters of the textbooks to learn by yourself if you are completely non-exposed to these topics, right? At the end of the day, the students can decide this is too much to catch up on, or I'm very interested in this topic and I'm willing to read extra book chapters and catch up to it. So the end of the day, we're here to help you succeed. Right, so sorry, I have to log off in a few minutes. I want to speak from a faculty perspective. Sorry, Jan, I'm hijacking your questions. I would like to encourage you all to reach out to faculties here. Um, I think as a group, we are very approachable and we're here to support you. And usually we're open to students, master students to do research, and we would love to provide a lot of hands-on training opportunities. I work on mostly semiconductor and quantum device researches. So in our case, I provide a lot of hands-on training in the clean room, and I think Kyle mentioned that we have one of the best state-of-the-art clean room facilities that provides not only just course modules for semiconductor device fabrication, but also supports a lot of research prototypes. And from the feedback I heard, the students took the classes with this lab and also doing some researches. They usually get an edge when they are looking for interviewing for a job in the semiconductor manufacturing positions. Similar things happens in VLSI area where we provide a lot of trainings for let's say cadence or synopsis, these hands-on experiences. So we're also here to support you. Let's say if you haven't decided whether you want to stay in academia or industry, there's always a transition in between, and we're happy to to help. Okay, so guys, sorry I have to log off now. Nice to meet you guys. Congratulations again for getting accepted.
There was a question too about availability of classes. I thought I'd just our graduate courses don't generally fill up. We have space in them, and there was an April 9th is when registration opens, but you do not have to necessarily register in April. There'll be plenty of spots in almost all of these courses, or probably all of these courses in August. It's not a huge concern.
Hey, quick follow-up on class availability, sorry. What are summers like? Like, is it kind of like undergrad where classes are scarce, or are classes widely available in the summer semester as well?
They're
Yeah.
pretty scarce. I know like we have a one credit lab. Is that what Alex does?
Yeah, there's a
Kyle?
one-credit course.
That's a 5,000. Otherwise, we do offer some 4,000 level classes. And as Murti put them up, we do accept some 4,000 level classes for our program. Depending if you're doing Plan A or Plan C, there's a little bit of a difference. As a grad student, you can't take more than 9 credits of 4,000 level. And then if you're Plan C, only 6 of those 9 credits can be EE 4,000. You could do 6 credits of EE 4,000 and a 4,000 3-credit computer science class, and that would work. Kind of the details are in the handbook for more information. And we can't split credits. So like if you take a 3-credit, a 3-credit, and a 4-credit, one of those classes won't count unless we are able to get an exception approved. But I wouldn't advise that after the fact that you take the classes. I would do it before if that's kind of your plan.
Yeah, most students during summer would be interning or taking other opportunities for co-oping or interning and getting experience in a job or in an industry to complement their studies as a coursework or thesis in the department during summer, I mean.
Yeah, and irrespective of which plan you're on, there's always opportunities to do summer research if you want to, with a faculty member. Yeah.
More questions? So I also wanted to point out in this age of AI where some sections are predicting gloom for everyone and others saying that we'll have great times. I want to point out that ECE in particular is very well positioned with respect to the AI revolution, particularly because the skill set that you gain here is very difficult to replicate with AI automation. And so you will get very strong foundations in a variety of areas, which give you deep exposure to physics, mathematics, systems, and experimental expertise, which will remain helpful to you through the test of times and changing environments. It's very hard to replace that skill set from AI. So being in ECE is particularly good during these times, and we see that a lot because there's a huge increase in enrollments in the undergraduate side of things, which is might be a leading indicator of where the sentiment lies with respect to jobs and how the AI, even if it is disruptive, how the ECE degree is going to remain robust with respect to employment and being relevant in the landscape that is evolving rapidly with the AI coming in. More questions?
Sam, did you have a question, Sam?
Yeah, hi. So just as a follow-up to what you were saying about the 4,000 level credit splitting. So in your example, the 4, a 3, and a 3, is that one credit would be wasted, or one of those entire courses would be wasted?
One of those classes would not be counted.
Oh,
Unless we get an exception. The grad school they're not able to split credits, so they can't take 3 credits from a class and just leave the one over there. So as I said, if you are thinking about that, if you're looking at classes and seeing there's a 4 credit class and 2 3 credit classes you're really interested in, we just kind of need an explanation of like, why do you think you should be able to do this? And then it goes through me and gets to MERDI for approval, and then it goes up to the college level and they have to approve it.
okay. And I guess as another follow-up to that then, so for some of those like 4 credit courses, I saw there's like ones where it's like an integrated lab. Is it possible to split those into like only taking the lecture and not taking the lab? Or if it's integrated lab, do you have to take the lab?
Right. Yeah. So like I said, there's
Let me
not.
answer that, and so I think there are 2 different varieties there. In some courses, the lab is very integrated with the course, and in some, you can split it up into the different credits for lab and for the course. So it depends on the course, but it's pretty easy to figure out, and Anne can help you. If you have any particular course in mind, you can just ask, is this splittable or not? And she can answer that question. And if she doesn't know, then we can always reach to somebody who can answer that question.
Okay.
So I wanted to also bring up one crucial aspect of it. Like there is a somewhat you create a program of study, and once you create a program of study, you take it through Anne. And so during that time, we can do all these checks, like what you want to do and how you want to come up with this program of study. And we help you out in creating a program of study throughout whatever you think is the span of your master's program. So during that time, number of these questions will get answered. Can I split this? Am I satisfying this particular bucket of credits or that particular bucket of credits? So you can make that plan, and that plan is not fixed in stone. You create the plan, see how it is going, and then you're able to change it. But what we are saying is we give personal attention to creating the program of study. And because the answers to many of these questions, whether it is splittable, what are the prerequisites, they vary from course to course. So it's best to have the program of study and then figure out the answers to those questions. With respect to the specific plan, you will have a specific kind of requirements, but it's not something that is in any way hard. It's pretty easy to figure out whether that fits your plan or not. So there are questions about facilities and faculties in terms of intelligent systems. We have a deep set of faculties that are doing intelligent systems and edge-based, AI-based applications. Yes, so we have leading edge research for AI in, for example, AI in security, AI in cybersecurity, AI in semiconductors, design, AI in digital design. AI in in medical imaging so it's all over the place. We have AI also for developing theory for AI, the foundations of AI. So we have the faculty are very deeply involved in AI research with domain knowledge as well. So it's not just pure AI, but very specific to the end edge based technologies that we have here. On data converters or mixed signal circuits, yes, those are bread and butter for many people for data converters and mixed signal circuits that you're talking. I'm hoping you're talking about analog digital mixed signal design. We have pretty strong courses as well as research that is going on in that area. Research labs at UMN focus on embedded systems and control systems. Sanjay, you can mail to me and I can get back to you on what are the people who are working in that, the faculty that are working on that, in that embedded systems and control systems area. We have a pretty strong control system group here on campus, in our department as well. More questions? And you had a graduate student who could speak to.
Yeah, Sarav here.
Or has he already? Okay. More questions?
Yeah, I'm not seeing him.
Might be you can raise your hand if something is not answered so that we can answer the question.
I did have one more.
Yeah, Stephen, yeah.
It was mentioned earlier that it's pretty common and supported for like the pipeline to a PhD. Is it usual for students to obtain the master's degree on the way there if they decide to do the PhD track, or do you kind of just jump them straight to PhD?
It's very, very flexible. So as I said, there's no rule. If you come in, you get interested in doing a PhD and you see a faculty saying, okay, look, I'm interested in a PhD, you approach the person, you strike the arrangement and it is seamless. You can immediately switch to a PhD program. There is no other requirements or hurdles to, you have to finish this, finish that. Once you're in the PhD program, there are requirements of the PhD program itself, but there is nothing coming in your way from transitioning from master's to PhD. And the resources you will have for once you switch to PhD, because now it is research oriented and not so much job oriented. The resources to support you through your PhD are substantially higher.
And just in that, like if you're doing Plan C, like all those credits are going to go to your PhD coursework requirements. There's 40 coursework requirements for the PhD and then thesis credits. So Plan C fits in all of them. If you do a Plan A and defend your thesis, the thesis credits can't go towards the PhD. But all your coursework can. So, and then a lot of students who are PhD students, they'll like add on a master's. So.
Yeah. So yeah, PhD. I mean, if you are interested in PhD, this is a very good school to do a PhD as well. So we did not speak much about PhD, but all our PhD students are more or less funded throughout the 10-year financially for doing a PhD. So we take the pressure off from finding industry jobs, etc., because we know it's a research enterprise then, and then so yes, but again, very deep research funding from all the federal agencies as well as industry that our faculty get, and so they are more tuned to PhD research. And there are some who are interested in master's thesis as well, but if you're particularly doing a PhD, the extra time gives a real opportunity to get engaged in a deep research area.
Yeah, and I'll just say that if the question is doing a master's somehow put you at some disadvantage, it's the opposite. Doing a master's first actually puts you at an advantage in some sense, in that you understand more about research. You've done courses at the higher level, so committing to a PhD after doing a master's, you know what you're getting into. So it's actually a positive, not a negative at all. And in fact, you could finish more quickly the PhD if you've done the master's. So on the contrary, I'd say it's a positive, a big positive, in fact.
Sweet. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you don't have to finish a master's though. So you come in and the transition to PhD is seamless. If you can decide to do a PhD. So that is also true. So more questions? Yeah, I just while somebody gets their thoughts clear and asks a question, I wanted to say that we have a very strong history of people coming back to us and saying that that was a very good decision to do a master's in our program because the return on investments is substantial when you graduate from this program.
Sam, do you have a question?
Yeah, I think someone answered in chat, but I wasn't sure if it got answered. But so when we're looking to go and register, would we want to kind of build out our plan and then kind of get in touch with you or get in touch with an advisor? Or
You can email me. At first we're kind of just going off are the classes you're registering for, are they hitting like all the requirements? You'll have, once you start, you'll have something what we call a GPass report. And that's where like all of your classes are filling in for those requirements. And on the student side, while it's a little cumbersome, you can kind of do some planning on it. But always feel free, like when you're registering for classes, to send me like, this is what I'm doing, what do you think? And I can help you along with that. So.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, we will be sharing all the slides as well. So
Yep.
Anne will email you the slide deck that we have made here.
Yep, I'll share that. Usually it takes a day for like the Zoom to be ready so that I can send it out to everybody, and I'll do the slides with that. But if you have questions before that, or if anything else comes up, just as I said, just email me.
Again, is there any question in the chat? Because quite a few questions there. Is there anything that we have not addressed yet? Then please raise your hand and we can answer the question.
Hey, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if this was asked before I joined Midway, but I wanted to ask about the possibility of a master's student getting involved in research with faculty. Is that common, or is that mostly reserved for PhD students?
It's quite common. So it's not reserved for PhD students. The main thing is if you have a research interest and you need to basically hook up with a faculty advisor who is doing the research that you're interested in or wants to start research in the area that you're interested in. But it is reasonably common, and particularly those students often will transition to PhD, but it's not a required thing. For example, if you're interested in research, the plan A, which is a thesis-based option, is particularly made for students who are interested in research and would like to have a research component in their masters. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I have a follow-up question. Would you recommend reaching out to professors before getting on campus, or would you say maybe after a semester would be a better idea?
There's no harm in reaching out to the faculty, but remember that faculty get quite a few emails from people who want to do research with their areas. Most of these faculty are very well established and renowned, so they get quite a few emails on the research front of things. So if you are on campus and then it's much easier to understand what the research is. and get to know what exactly they want to, whether you can strike a rapport with them and get an idea about what is the research that you want to do. So just from a practical point of view, it makes probably more sense to be on campus if you are coming for a master's degree. If you're planning to do research in a very substantial manner, then often you reach out to faculty saying, I'm interested in research. And then in a substantial manner, then you reach out, then you'll get more time from the faculty to answer your questions. More questions? Okay, I just want to also bring about the for international students, this might be a good time to do a master's from the US. The reason being, I believe, and this is somewhat changing landscape, but I believe right now that if you're doing a master's from our program, then the extra fees that is there for the subsequent visa is waived. So that might be a good incentive as well to do masters in the program here right now. Yeah, please. That's another changing landscape that is occurring in the United States here. More questions? Are there any questions that we have not answered and you're waiting for a response on the chat? It's better to ask it here or point us to that so that we get it answered.
Okay, if you put it that way, I do have quite a few more
Yeah.
questions actually. From the required course list, I understand that there are single credit seminars that are required that we have to take. And is there a particular schedule we should take seminars and those specialty courses in our duration later on versus earlier?
So usually there is a seminar course that is basically a colloquium that the ECE department brings experts from industry all across the country and the world, and graduate students are supposed to attend that particular seminar colloquium. It's very informative, even if it is not exactly in your area of interest. You go to this place, these talks, they're coming from experts, but very well established. So it's fun. It's very. But if you have conflict with other courses that you're doing, then we waive that requirement for that semester, for example. So it's not that's the nature of that particular colloquium. And it's Thursdays, I guess. Right now it starts at 11 to 12 or something like 11 to 12:15, I think, is the time on Thursdays that you have to that Thursday colloquium.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't know if that was kind of like an introductory to meet professors on campus that might, invoke further interest so that we can learn more. And yeah.
So the other thing is that if you join the program, we will have an orientation session that goes on. So that will be very helpful when you come in. There's an orientation program. We go through all the requirements again, etc., and guide you through the entire program. Set up meetings with Anne and advisors for your program of study, etc., to be done. So we set you up pretty well initially as well. So that's the nature of things here. I think it's very flexible. So and there are always exceptions made. If there are rules, there are rules, but there are also exceptions. If you have, for example, a very good expertise in an area and you want to take a very advanced course, you just say, I have the expertise, and you ask for permission number or come to me, and then we make sure that we are doing an informed decision. So the rules are there, but we ensure that the potential of the student is not compromised in any which way. It's a very rigorous program. So sometimes we will say, I mean, look, this is going to be a tough course. We give you pretty good information and not set you up for, difficulties down the line. It's a very rigorous program, and that's why our industry folks like us and take our graduates because they know that you guys are getting very good training when you do a master's with us. But as I said, we are very supportive and collaborative, and we are invested in the success of the student. And every student comes with their own peculiarities and strengths and weaknesses, and so we tailor our suggestions and advice according to that.
Yeah, thank you. And kind of asking, what you have repeatedly emphasized about developing a program of studies. So for someone like myself whom have no experience yet, are there individuals that might be able to share with us some of their program of study so we can kind of model and see, okay, such and such person with such and such background developed this program, and we can kind of model and make some have some idea.
Yeah. I mean, the program of study is something important, and Anne will spend time with you to come up with that if you have more questions. And then even if she does not know the answer or I don't know the answers, we can reach out to people from that area. For example, saying this student is asking this question, and this is a program of the expertise that the student has, and what do you think is the fit? So we'll try to make it work for you. We will surely reach to you will make a decision that is informed if you're reaching out in a timely manner for that.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And that's also like get involved with the grad group. They do coffee hours. Depending on the time of the semester, they do them like every other week, and then they have the activities. So like just connecting with current grad students, and they're great resource for like, how did you get an internship, or what do you think of these classes? And so they're often great resources. We have a career resource center on campus as well for our college, and there's one dedicated advisor that works with grad students, although any of them are able to, but there's a lot like, and you'll be on the ECE grad email. So when I find out about events that they're having, like writing up a good resume and, just things like that, you're going to get all that information.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I will sign off. Again, let me just summarize. If you join our department, you have a very good return on investment. For most of you, that's primary in your calculations. We have a vast network in industry, and then if you get interested in research and you want to transition to PhD, again, you will have a very, very nice setup here with, as I said, very, very accomplished faculty at the forefront of technology. So I hope you will join us. You've already gone through a very selective process. Congratulations on that. And reach out to us if you have more questions away from this discussion, and send an email to Anne, and we will answer your questions if you still have anything that you thought you missed asking during this session here. Again, best of luck and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.